What's up, YouTube? Today we got another cooking episode, and we're going to show you a little different meal than last time. We're adding a few different things while keeping some ingredients the same. So first off, for our veggies, we got a little bit of butternut squash, sweet potatoes, and a couple carrots. So we're going to dump those in. We're making a decent sized batch today. We're going to feed all the babies, all the adults, and if there's any left, we'll save for next time. Now, when you're making recipes yourself, you do got to be somewhat careful. You don't always want to do just something like this, because if you make a bad recipe and it's lacking something like, say, for example, calcium, you're going to end up getting, metabolic bone disease. So then for our first set of meats, we got cooked snail meat. We went to the Asian grocery store and got those. So we got just under 2 pounds. So we're going to dump those both in. Carefully. So we're going to dump one more in. And then we'll start blending the first half. Ooh. We only spilled 2. That's pretty good. So we're going to start processing this, and then we'll jump ahead. So now we're going to fill up our second batch. We got a dozen hard-boiled eggs, a pound and a half of chicken liver, and a pound and a half of chicken gizzards. And why I chose the gizzards and the livers, over like chicken breasts, these have a lot more nutrients in them. It's a lot healthier. And what's nice, it's also a lot less money per pound. You can get a pound of chicken gizzards at Walmart for $1.50 or so, where if you went with chicken breast, you're at like 3 to 5 pounds. So saving the bank is always a good thing. It looks like we might need to do a third batch. In this one here, we're going to dump in, we got Repashy Super Cal High D, which has a good amount of D3, and then Repashy Calcium Plus High D. And the reason we're doing this, one, the D3, it helps them absorb the calcium. If you have a quality UVB bulb, then you won't need as high a D3. But sometimes when you do some of these home brews or home recipes, they're lacking, certain vitamins. So that's why we're putting the multivitamin and the extra calcium in. So we're going to mix this one, then we'll be right back with you. Now, this one might get a little controversial depending on who you ask. So I follow some PhD nutritionists that specialize primarily in dog food. One is Dr. Karen Becker, and she'll talk about the different types of dog food and like grade them, like A through F or, A through D. And the reason why I bring this up, some people say you can feed dry dog food, which you can, but usually quality-wise, the dry isn't as good. And then also to that, not everyone will say you have to do grain-free, and which is true. they can live off of grain dog food for years. But the nice thing is you start getting better quality, and that's where you start going up, towards the A quality. So like some of the worst quality is if you have a home brew that's, a horrible recipe. You're doing straight ground turkey and carrots. You're going to be missing a lot of vitamins, a lot of nutrients. Odds are you're not going to have enough calcium. And if you don't have a good enough UVB bulb, the little calcium it has, it's not going to reabsorb. So that's why a lot of people just recommend using, straight dog food. It takes some of the guesswork out. But so as you're going up, so then after the next, you'd be like grain-free wet dog food. For example, we got Organomics. It's grain-free. It's got quality ingredients. It doesn't have any fillers like rice, potatoes. Because even though it's grain-free, some of those will still have fillers that is not going to hurt them, and they can live for years. But it's a little better quality. They're going to get more nutrients per bite versus potatoes are a ton of starch. So then as you go up, you got freeze-dried raw, which makes it simple. Some of the frozen ones you can just thaw and feed to your skink. It's got good quality ingredients. And higher up from there, you'd have a perfectly balanced raw diet, which is hard for blue tongues. There are some out there, and Dr. Karen Becker has recipes of her own that will give you a good idea on to get mixed nutrients and have everything they need. But in the end, that's where you want to go with variety. So that's why we got this. We're going to mix dog food in it in the next step while adding some nice quality ingredients. This isn't raw. We got it basically half boiled everything. That way it's not as bloody and juicy, but it still has a lot of those nutrients. So we're going to start this one up and we'll be right back. So to wrap everything up, we're mixing it all together to make sure each bite will have a little bit of everything and everyone gets, all the nutrients from each thing we put in. So remember, use quality food, use varying, variety between different brands of dog foods, different kinds. You can find some great quality raw food out there. You can look into Dr. Karen Becker more if you want to learn more about dog food nutrition than the little bit I went over today. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Please like and subscribe.